Whenever you're ready. That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were okay. One more time. Feed me my lines.
That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
And the PCC Multiverse.
Catch it here today. Catch it here on the SKO Radio Network. On the SKO Radio Network. Catch it here on the SKO Radio Network. Coming up next, Anthony Barberin is here with an update on college football. Right after the break, this is the PCC Multiverse. Coming up right after the break, it's Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast. He's going to preview Week 2 in the NFL for fantasy football owners out there. That's coming up right after the break. This is the PCC Multiverse. Coming up right after the break, it's Jessica Boggs from the TVRatingsGuide.com. She's gonna share her thoughts on the fall season for Fox, CW, and all those and the best of cable out there. This is the best of cable. This is the PCC Multiverse. On this week's episode, it's week 2 of our fall TV preview. What the future looks like for DC without Henry Cavill in it, and will the Predator overcome controversy to be victorious at the box office? All this and more as we reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate you listening to each and every one of our great programs. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my good friend. He is the man, the myth, the legend behind Humanica Media. You got to check out all the great things they're doing today at Humanica Media on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so much more, including the great and outstanding Topicocalypse podcast. It is my good friend. It is Josh Peterson. No time to try and think of something clever this week, my friend, because we've got a stacked episode indeed.
That's good because I don't have anything clever.
There you go, tit for tat. But it is going to be a great episode we've got for you today. We've got a lot of interviews coming up for you. First off, we've got Anthony Barberin usually our resident NBA expert. He wanted to share his thoughts on what's going on in the with NCAA with college football right now. It's early in the season. Some trends are just starting to take place. He's going to share his thoughts on some of the big teams and which teams could surprise to maybe even sneak in and get a playoff spot in the near future. Also, we've got Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast touching on the football theme here. He is going to be sharing his thoughts about week 2 in the NFL for fantasy football owners. He's got some ideas on who you might want to pick up, who you might want to trade for, and also individuals that if you've got them on the bench, he's got some names that you might be looking for to start in your games this weekend in the NFL. We also have Jessica Boggs from the TVRatingsGuide.com. That's the TVRatingsGuide.com. She is going to be talking about all the great things that are coming this fall to Fox, CW, and the best of cable that she thinks is really going to be standout coming up this fall on the television platform for, like I said, Fox, CW, and of course, what's going on with the best of cable out there. So it is going to be a great show. Just cannot wait to talk about all those great things with all those great people. But first up, Josh, I know it hit everyone out there like a ton of bricks, but in the middle of negotiations to do a cameo for the upcoming Shazam movie next year, it looks like the representatives for Henry Cavill kind of just backed out of the scene when it came to continuing any negotiations with Warner Brothers. And either they're on a full hiatus between Henry Cavill continuing with the Superman character, or from the kind of cryptic, kind of confusing, kind of almost weird and just really vague messages that are out there, it might even seem like Henry Cavill, from both what Warner Brothers and Henry Cavill himself are saying, that he could be out of the picture when it comes to the future for Superman. So I want to hear your thoughts, my friend. What are you thinking right now when you hear Henry Cavill's out as far as being the man for Superman is concerned?
I don't like it, man. I have a lot of mixed emotions about this. One being,
And he says that with a Superman shirt on, I will let you know.
yeah. I like the Man of Steel. I might be one of the few people who thoroughly enjoyed that movie and that darker side of Superman. But I don't know. Everything's very cryptic right now. Everything, the media kind of had a field day with this without really verifying anything. So we don't know a lot right now, except they're both Cavill and his agent are being very cryptic. So is Warner Brothers. You see, Cavill had that thing earlier today where he's lifting Superman and then he lowers Superman. So they're all being very cryptic about it. I, for one, I was kind of upset. Well, we were talking about this yesterday when they the news came out, and then they said that there's another article coming out that said they were considering replacing him with Michael B. Jordan. And
Or with Supergirl, because that's already in development as a movie. We obviously know the TV shows out there already, but they were also considering putting Supergirl in the place as far as continuing, if they decide to continue with the Justice League.
right, and I know this gets beaten to death a lot, but I don't like the idea, like, I'm all for diversity in comic books and comic book movies and stuff, but this is almost so blatant that it felt like this was a move for money, because that's what people want right now. They want female superheroes, they want diverse superheroes, and I'm all for that, totally for that. Don't get me wrong, but if you can't even get your major heroes right, Superman and Batman, then why is anybody going to care about these lower level characters, Supergirl, Green Lantern? In canon, there is an African American or a black Superman, but they can't even treat their big players right. And sorry, you're gonna have to edit that part out. They can't even treat their big players right, but they want to do all these other movies first. And not only are they not treating the character of Superman right, they're not treating Cavill right himself, because originally it was slated like Man of Steel 2 was supposed to come out in 2019. They kept getting put on the back burner. Then Batman was supposed to come out. That kept getting put on the back burner and again. And then we ended up with what? Talk about a Batgirl movie, talk about a Supergirl movie, and then this, it's not right. They're not treating him right as an actor. They need to get their priorities straight, get their big five players right, and then work on the smaller movies. That's what Marvel did right, and that's what DC needs to do. But right now, at this point, news of Michael B. Jordan, the Supergirl, stuff like that, like they're just kind of beating the social trend to death instead of focusing on actually building their franchise and then focusing on the more social and diverse aspects of the universe.
I think you hit it right on the head that they're not focusing on the core team first and then branching it out from there. They're just like all over the place because they've talked about not only one, but two Joker movies, one being a prequel. Then you've also talked about Gotham City Sirens and possibly a Cyborg, Flashpoint. They've talked about a number of other movies instead of just focusing on the ones that they need to get started. At least Aquaman, that's on celluloid. That is actually going to go ahead and be, still going on when it comes to December is concerned. But we don't even know Jason Momoa's future after this. You've got Wonder Woman 1984. That is coming up next year. Those two are for certain. But after that, it seems very vague with what is and what will not be coming out to theaters when it comes to Warner Brothers and DC. Shazam 2, I should say, that's also something that's already taken place, and there's already trailers out, and that's something that's going to be out there. And this actually is Shazam, in a way, is actually what caused a little bit of this controversy, was that they were actually negotiating whatever over money or whatever that they were negotiating over when it comes to a cameo in the Shazam movie, which seems kind of ridiculous that cameo in the Shazam movie has caused all this ill will, all this controversy, and really just caused this outpouring of anger and angst amongst social media and fans out there that actually were standing behind Henry Cavill as Superman, even though by track record, it's really not proven to be the greatest thing going on for the DC franchise.
Right, and again, it's that disrespect of the character. A lot of people have come to kind of, I guess, love Cavill's Superman over the course of the DC universe, and we started to see a more lighter side of him in Justice League, but what they need to develop his character. He's kind of been stuck at this level. He's been beaten to death between, Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon, the Warner executives. They need to develop the character into what he needs to be, and then have him do the cameos, and then have him appear all over the universe. The Warner Brothers is really, they don't know what they're doing. They're all over the place, and they're not, like I said before, they're not developing their core characters very well. Wonder Woman, okay, but we'll see how Aquaman does. But again, like the whole thing with Flashpoint and Batman and Cyborg, I heard that Ray Fisher's leaving too. So it's it's clear they don't know what they're doing. And it shows that they don't really care about this franchise beyond the point of it making money. They don't care about story. They just want to sell action figures and t-shirts and stuff. And that's what's going to always make them stay behind Marvel, and also make these movies not do as well as they can do, because it's all marketing. And it's not, again, with the Supergirl and the Michael B. Jordan as Superman, it's all marketing schemes. They don't care much for the story or the depth of the characters.
And what's funny is that even though it has underperformed as far as a whole in the past three outings, including, well, actually four if you include Suicide Squad as well. When you talk about Suicide Squad, you talk about Justice League, you talk about Man of Steel, and you talk also as well about Batman versus Superman. You're still talking about four movies combined that have garnered over $2 billion at the box office, and all four of them, in one way or another, have been disappointments. And that's not even including the hit Wonder Woman, which only garnered a little bit more at 750 million dollars worldwide. So it's just funny how the line is drawn between what they think works, what we think works, and what we think doesn't work. And even though the Wonder Woman movie has hit, and obviously it's going to get a sequel, and everything's fine with that part of the DC universe, everything else that has problems has so much more potential. If it's written well and has a decent narrative, you're talking about films that could have easily go, if they had sequels to it, that could easily go well over $1 billion, because if they're really not well thought of and they're garnering 500, 600, 700 million, my goodness, if they are well thought of, you just, like I said, it's $1 billion to $1.5 billion right there, easy.
Yeah, they could. They have the potential to make money out of this, but again, it's not all about the marketing. It's more about people want a good story. That's what draws me into the comic books, is the fact that the characters have depth and layers to them. And in here, you get fight scenes, you get grunting. You don't really get what makes the comic book so great. And I don't think Warner Brothers gets it. I don't think they understand what draws people into these characters beyond the dollar signs they're seeing.
Well, I'll leave you with this, my friend. If Henry Cavill, his status is kind of unknown at this point, for sure, for sure. Although, like I said, a lot of people have speculated and reported on that he's already out as Superman. Your thoughts on, should if you were Warner Brothers, should you do what you can to try and retain his services? And if it looks like it's too much water under if it's too much, that bridge has been broken, that the bridges, there's too much damage there, then who would you go after as an alternate for Henry Cavill as his replacement in the Superman franchise?
So I would definitely try to salvage, the relationship with Cavill, because people like continuity and people like people that they recognize, and that's not just in movies, but that's in public too. You go to like you go to some kind of anything that has like some kind of community group, you're automatically going to be going to somebody, right? So it's the same thing with movies. I think the psychology is all there. They need to keep Cavill in the role. do something that give him the attention he deserves. Let him do his thing in a movie that will actually show how good he is as an actor and how good the character is. But if he did leave, I would pick I would want Arnie Hammer to play Superman. That's who I he's got the look, you know?
Wow, that was something out of left field because he certainly doesn't have the box office performance. Let's not talk a Lone Ranger there, but that is something that's out of left field. But yes, he does have the look out of it. If I would probably say for me, I'd probably say Scott Eastwood because he does have that similar like look. Yeah, he does look like Nathan Drake right behind me, but he still I think he could still also pull off that Superman look as well. But then again, we don't know what's going to go on with DC. Hopefully, in the fast-moving world of Hollywood out there, that things will, we know things are going to change and change quite rapidly. Could it go back to Henry Cavill being Superman or somebody else? There's a lot of speculation going on, and at this point in time, it just continues this narrative that has been going on for years now that a lot of people are very unhappy about, and that is the direction and trying to understand what Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment is doing when it comes to their movie franchise, because there is so much more potential there that could be had, but just misstep after step after misstep after misstep, and I just don't think, like you said, that they get it, and I'm not sure that they ever will. What are your thoughts on the Henry Cavill possible change and possible ouster as Superman? Are you happy with it? Do you want to see him go back? Do you want to see him put back on the tights and the cape? Do you want somebody else in the role? Maybe someone like Michael B. Jordan or a Supergirl, or someone like even what Josh was suggesting, as like Armie Hammer or Scott Eastwood or somebody else that you think would better fit the role of Superman, replacing Henry Cavill at this point in time. Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook and Twitter as well. And we're back to close out the show. This is Gerald once again coming right back at you here. Just cannot thank you enough for listening to us and just enjoying each and every one of our programs, especially tonight, especially this program. We just cannot thank you enough for doing so. Also want to give a big thank you to Jessica Boggs from the TVRatingsGuide.com. Check out all their great stuff that they're doing when it comes to articles, reviews, the Renew Cancel Index that they have, all the other great things that they're doing. Check it out today, TVRatingsGuide.com. Also as well, Anthony Barberin, who checked in with his thoughts early on in the college football season. And also as well, Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast, the full episodes of which are also on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. You can check it out anytime at all on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and over 30 more podcast outlets. Josh, I know you got a great thing going on with Humanica Media. It's truly a lot of stuff. You're just flying right and left with content, my friend. So it's no longer a slow season for you, my friend. So what's going on with all the great things at Humanica Media?
Hey, well, Humanica Media is putting out Topicocalypse episodes. We're doing video now, and also the PCC Gamescast. Gerald, how about that? That's a big thing. New show on the Pop Culture Cosmos. It'll be premiering in podcast form next week, but for now you can check it out on YouTube at the Humanica Media channel, and tomorrow it'll be up on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. So be sure to be looking out for that. We're talking about games and nostalgia and things we're looking forward to and worst rage quit moments.
That's right. It is the PCC Gamescast that is going to be available soon in audio form on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel. And like you said, it is now available on YouTube at Humanica Media and Pop Culture Cosmos as well. So Josh, on our way out, wanted to check in with a couple things. First off, wanted to talk to you about the Nintendo Direct. I know there was some good announcements today. One thing that I was really keying in on, and that one thing I know that you were keying in on that you wanted to talk about, And for neither of us, it wasn't Luigi Mansion 3. That is coming out. That's nice. That's really cool. I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate that. But there's a lot more that was announced today. Animal Crossing Switch is coming out in 2019. Excuse me. The Nintendo Switch Online has about 20 classic NES games. There's a great list that's coming out. Settlers of Catan, Pandemic, and there's so many other digital board games that are also coming to the Nintendo Switch. So, for anybody out there that's a real big fan of popular board games, just got to go ahead and check out what Nintendo Switch is going to be offering soon from all those cool board games. For me, I think that the biggest news was something that I think almost makes me feel like justice has been served, because someone cursed me out the high of the Wii U that my thoughts on a Super Smash Brothers bundle with the Wii U, and I suggested that. I thought that would be something that would garner a lot more sales. I was cursed out ad nauseum by one individual that thought I was just blatantly stupid and used a lot of other curse words at me at that time as well. Well, lo and behold, it's a new console. We're going for the Switch now, and with the Nintendo Switch, they're coming out this holiday, starting November 2nd, with a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate console bundle. That's right. They're
Wait
coming
a
out.
second. When this is edited and put together, there better be a in your face soundbite.
Well, I tell you what, there might be. I don't want to dwell too much on it or gloat too much on it, but okay, all right, here we go. But anyways, I will say this, that it is coming out November 2nd. It will not include initially, if you buy the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Switch, which will actually have all the characters right there on each side of the Switch, as far as on the facing of it. But what it will have is a digital download. So when the game comes out on the 7th, you're going to be able to download it to your Nintendo Switch. So in essence, it is a bundle. I'm thinking it's going to be something that's going to carry the system sales as far as forward and really win the holiday season for them. Your thoughts on a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Switch bundle? Like I said, for me, it's a long time coming. It now gets me really interested in the product. And yeah, if it rubs the salt into somebody's wounds for their nearsightedness as far as what Nintendo was thinking, hey, that's their deal. I'm just gonna, like I said, it's something that I thought they should have done on the Wii U. I'm just glad they're now doing it on the Switch.
It makes sense. Honestly, I'm not. We've had this conversation. I'm not a huge Super Smash fan. I will play it, but it makes sense that there would be a bundle. It honestly, this is the game. A lot of people are stoked about this. A lot of people have fond memories about the game. It makes sense. And especially if you're going to have a bunch of new people jumping on the Switch this holiday season, it makes sense to have a Super Smash bundle, because that's what people are going to want to be playing, minus Pokemon or whatever. And who knows, they might even have a bundle for that when it comes out.
That's true, that maybe a Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu type deal. But I'll tell you what, I think it's something that's a long time in coming. I just think it was a smart move by Nintendo to be finally doing that and to have a bundle that people are going to be able to get right off the bat that will actually download the game on the 7th of December. They'll already have a month to utilize it, to have a lot of fun with it, to be playing other games on it. And obviously there's going to be a lot of sales on Nintendo products during the holiday seasons before then. So I think it's a win-win for all the gamers out there. And I definitely think it's a win-win for Nintendo and their sales for holiday are concerned. Now, I know there was some things that you want to talk about when it came to the Nintendo Direct. So shoot it at me, man. There was some Final Fantasy news that you need to bring everybody up to speed on when it comes to the Nintendo Direct.
Oh, yeah. I am super stoked, man. Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 10-2, Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age, the Chocobo game, and the Crystal Chronicles and new World of Final Fantasy, I think World of Final Fantasy was the other one. All announced for Switch. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition is also available today, but I was talking to someone about that, and they brought up a good point saying it's $20 on the Switch for a pocket version, where you can go and pay $20 or less for the full Xbox experience. So I personally don't know if that's worth it to me. But Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, 10, 11, 10 to 12, that's exciting because what this is, you're taking classic games and you're making it available to a newer generation of gamers. And that's what makes me so excited because, if younger gamers get into Final Fantasy, who knows where the franchise could go? It needs all the attention it can get. And it's cool because I also read it, this is all speculation, but it's also going to be available on Xbox, the 7 and 9 and 10 and 10.2 at some point, which makes me wonder, do you think that they had some kind of exclusivity contract with Sony for these games and it ran up, and that's why we're now seeing them on platforms other than Sony?
When it's announced in great detail like that, and there's several titles announced, I have a feeling that that was the case.
Yeah, and everyone's wondering why 8 wasn't announced, but I guess there's a contract issue with one of the songs that was used in 8. That's why they never bothered remastering it up until now.
Looks like that's the case, but yeah, it's just a great news for fantasy football. Excuse me, it's great news for Final Fantasy fans that these games are going to be hitting the Nintendo Switch. And like I said, for people who have not gotten into it yet, being able to play it on the go on the Switch is actually a very smart move. I also like the deal where there's a lot of classic board games and popular board games of the modern era. Of the modern era are actually also coming in a digital form to the Nintendo Switch as well, making it something that it's going to be able to play played by a lot of different people, either right there on the Switch or online, I'm assuming, as well. So that, to me, I thought was a sneakily very good decision by the Nintendo Switch to go ahead and pick up those games, because they're not usually advertised when they're on other platforms. And having it advertised now with the success of board games and how well they're doing just makes it really just a very cunning move, and just a little extra added nugget for those people that are interested in getting a Switch or who have one already, especially with the online that's coming out in a very short period of time. Your thoughts on the Nintendo Online, what the service is offering and what the service is going to be all about, because it is around the corner. It's something that's going to be new for everybody out there that's ever owned a Nintendo console.
I was talking to Brian Wegner about this earlier, and he was saying, he's not too excited about it. I'm kind of in the same boat. I like the idea of being able to go back and play like the old games, and they even had an announcement where they have a classic NES controller that you can play on your Switch. But there's just not enough in it for me right now, and I don't know enough people who play online. uh Maybe when the cloud save feature becomes a thing and we can actually play bigger releases on the Switch, I might be interested. Maybe when they have more classic games come out, I might be interested. But for right now, there's just nothing that's really pulling me into it. I do like the price point though, of $20 a year. If they could keep that, then put more games on there for people to play, I think it has a chance of really going somewhere.
Yes, indeed. Yes, it looks like it's going to be something very good for the Switch owners, at least as far as the start is concerned, and the basic price of $20 for a year, it's a good start. Now, you and I both know that at some point in time they're going to be raising the prices, and they're not going to be holding it at that point. I know it's like an initial entry offering. A lot of people are going to go for it, but as soon as it goes to 30 and 40 and 50, and well, where it goes from there. But for now, it looks like $20 a year is going to be a very solid value, just to see, hopefully, that you'll be able to get the performances out of it. They just need to work on the friend codes and all that stuff, and just stop making it so confusing for people just to want to play together online. Once they get rid of that aspect and make it easier, then the sky's the limit for Nintendo consoles. One last thing before we head on out, my friend, and that is The Predator. It's coming out this weekend to theaters all around the world. It's going to really start going out as far as being what hopefully will be a big hit for them. They are targeting right now between $25 million to $30 million, which is not a super duper opening for a medium level budget budgeted movie like that is. Your thoughts on the Predator going into the weekend? Is it something you're going to be excited for? I know we've talked about it before in the past, but with the added controversies of what Olivia Munn had to go through with the shunning, with being shunned at a period of time by the rest of the cast because of her decision to go up to the execs of the movie company and get a scene cut because it involved a sex offender. That controversy didn't seem to go away for a little while. It actually came right before the movie, which is not always the best time for those things to happen. And the way the cast treated her initially was kind of put her in a bad light, and it shouldn't have, because all she was trying to do was trying to make things right and trying to go ahead and say, hey, I didn't feel comfortable with the scene staying in the picture. And I'm actually glad that she got the chance to speak out and got things done. And hopefully at this point in time that the cast has finally got together and be able to mesh and go forward. But it looks like overall it might have hurt the movie as far as the controversy is concerned. But even that, in the middle of September, this type of movie may not play well to a large audience.
Right. Yeah. I have some thoughts on that controversy thing too. I'm glad it all worked out and all that. But, Olivia Munn is kind of, at first, like, I wasn't sure what to think of it because she's always looking for reasons to be in the spotlight, it seems, on social media and stuff. But yeah, I'm glad they got that all squared away. But it's it makes me sad to think that you have people who can't get along in a cast of the cast of a movie, especially. But no, I think right now is actually a good time for the movie to come out because people are going to be looking for things to go see. But it's going to be like Halloween though. Like that was cool to older people back when the movie was fresh, and same thing with the Predator franchise. So it just depends on, like, I honestly I don't think it's been marketed very well so far. You don't see any trailers on TV. You see them on the internet, but you don't see anything on television. So I'm hoping it does good. Will it do good? Who knows? I like to see Thomas Jane succeed because I always admired him as a Punisher, but who knows at this point, man, because we're in, like we always talk about, we're in a really weird time for movies and these nostalgia flicks. Though good to some of us, they just don't appeal to a wider audience. And Predator, to me, I feel like it's going to be one of those movies that people wait until it hits Redbox to watch.
And that's a shame, because if it doesn't do very well, now that it's owned by Disney or will soon be owned by Disney, Disney's just going to put that on the back burner for years to come. And that's going to be a shame for anyone who likes the Predator franchise. Let's see. Oh, I know you had talked about the Halloween franchise, and normally I would agree with you that maybe my expectations for it doing really well were going to have to be a little bit subdued, especially in the wake of The Nun doing so well. But you know what? In a strange move, and get this, man, they're already releasing reviews of the Halloween movie that's coming out in over a month's time. What are your thoughts on that? Because they are really happy with those reviews, because there's a lot of glowing reviews when it comes to the Halloween movie, which, like I said, is not coming out for another month.
Yeah, that seemed weird to me, but I guess maybe that's part of their marketing strategy. I don't know. I'm glad it's doing well, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, it's cool to see her come back to the role. And that might be something too, because it's kind of like with us. Like if they made another Alien movie and they brought Sigourney Weaver back into it, yeah, people would go flocking to it. People, dads would take their kids to go see it, stuff like that. But yeah, so who knows? Maybe nostalgia will work in this case.
We'll actually talk about that as it gets closer to the release date. But yeah, if you want to check out reviews, they're all over the place for the Halloween movie, which is, like I said, is not coming out for another 4 weeks. But hey, the word's already getting out already that it is a really good movie. So like you said, Josh, this could be a different way to market this type of film. What are your thoughts out there on the Nintendo Direct, the Predator movie coming out this weekend, and the Halloween movie coming out next month? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. So Josh, it's been a really busy day. Like I said, I want to thank everybody for being a part of it and everybody for checking in and listening to us. Just a lot of stuff going on. Got even more coming up here on Monday's show. We've got Rob McCallum. Also as well, we've got TJ Johnson from Voice from the Underground. He's going to share his thoughts on the Spider-Man game coming, the Spider-Man game that's out now on the PlayStation 4. I know you're going to share your thoughts on that as well. Plus, we're going to break down in as best detail as we can some of the things that we really are liking coming up this fall in the streaming universe. We're going to have our thoughts on Iron Fist that you can check out now. Lost my train of thought here. Oh, the Jack Ryan series coming. That Jack Ryan series that's now on Amazon. All that and quite a bit more when it comes to the streaming networks such as Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, and so much more. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.